The water exploded. A body shot out of the forbidden river like it had been spat out by something alive. Kofi slammed onto the riverbank, choking violently, his fingers digging into the mud as he screamed in raw terror. "It's inside me," he cried, clawing at his chest. "It followed me out." Behind him, the river surged without wind, rising and falling like it was breathing. The surface twisted, dark and angry, swallowing the moonlight completely. Malik staggered backward, his voice shaking. "We gave it back. We gave everything back." A deep sound rolled out of the water, not a roar, not a splash, but a voice layered with many voices. Too late. Tariq fell to his knees, sobbing uncontrollably. "We were hungry. We didn't know." The river began to pull again, not gently, not slowly. Amani stood frozen at the edge, watching the river stretch toward them like a living thing, knowing with terrifying certainty that this moment had already been decided long before any of them stepped into the water. And this was only the punishment, because hours earlier they had laughed while stealing from it. It had started as a joke. The village had been quiet for weeks, the kind of quiet that came when hope was thinning. Crops had failed again. The elders spoke less and sighed more. Hunger had begun to creep into conversations, into arguments, into sleep. Kofi was the first to speak it aloud. "We're fools if we keep suffering while the answer is right there," he said, pointing towards the dark outline of the forest where the forbidden river flowed. Tariq frowned immediately. "You don't joke about that place." "I'm not joking," Kofi replied. "I'm thinking." Malik leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Thinking about what?" "About why the river keeps its gifts hidden, like it wants to be challenged." Amani stood up. "No, that river is not a challenge. It's a warning." Kofi laughed. "Warnings are for people who can afford fear." They argued until night swallowed the village. Amani left them there, anger tight in his chest, but the others stayed behind, hunger feeding boldness, boldness feeding greed. That was when Malik told them what he had seen. "Last full moon," he said quietly. "I was hunting late. The water glowed." Tariq stiffened. "You're lying." "I swear it," Malik replied. "Stones beneath the surface, like gold breathing." Silence followed. Then Kofi smiled. They went that night. The forest felt wrong as soon as they entered it. Sounds faded. The air thickened. Even Kofi hesitated for half a heartbeat when they saw the river. It looked calm. Too calm. Moonlight painted the surface silver, but beneath it something pulsed, faint, tempting. Tariq's voice trembled. "Let's go back." Kofi stepped forward instead. "Just one," Malik whispered, "just to see." The moment Kofi's foot touched the water, cold shot through him like a blade. The river reacted, not violently, but alertly, like something had opened its eyes. They reached down, hands shaking, scooping glowing stones into their pockets. The water hummed softly, displeased but patient. Then Tariq heard it. His name, not shouted, not whispered. Known. He screamed and stumbled back, nearly dropping everything. The hum deepened. They ran. They laughed when they reached the village, breathless and shaking, adrenaline drowning fear. "See?" Kofi said. "We're fine." They divided the stones in secret. That was when the village began to change. The next morning, fish floated dead. Children complained of headaches. The elders argued openly, something they never did. By nightfall, the river smelled wrong. By the second night, Kofi coughed up sand. At first, he thought it was dust. Then it kept coming, grain after grain, pouring from his mouth until he fell to his knees, gagging, eyes wide with horror. Malik avoided reflections. He noticed it accidentally, washing his hands. The water rippled, but his face did not appear. He wiped his eyes, looked again. Nothing. Tariq stopped sleeping. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard footsteps sloshing toward him, heard the river calling softly, patiently, promising rest. Amani knew. "You must return it," he told them urgently. "Now." Malik shook his head. "What if that makes it worse?" Kofi snapped. "You think it's better now?" They waited too long. By the third night, the river overflowed without rain. By the fourth, villagers began falling sick. Mothers cried. Elders whispered words they had not spoken in decades. The balance is broken. The dreams came the same night. Faceless figures rose from dark water, voices echoing as one. Return what was stolen, or become part of the river. They woke screaming. Fear replaced arrogance. They agreed to go back. That was how they ended up at the riverbank again. That was how the water exploded. Now Kofi lay gasping, Malik shaking, Tariq broken, Amani frozen in terror. The river surged forward, reaching. Malik threw the stones into the water. "Take them, please." The river swallowed them. Then it spoke. Too late. The pull intensified. Mud cracked beneath their feet. Kofi screamed as something wrapped around his ankle, dragging him screaming towards the water. He clawed at the ground, nails breaking, blood mixing with mud. Help me!" he shrieked. Tariq grabbed his arm, sobbing. Malik joined, screaming wordless prayers. The river tightened. Kofi was yanked forward with inhuman force. His scream cut off abruptly as he vanished beneath the surface. The water stilled. Silence fell like a burial cloth. Tariq collapsed completely, rocking back and forth, whispering Kofi's name over and over. Malik backed away slowly, eyes wild. Amani stood shaking, knowing something worse was coming. The river was not finished. The river did not move after that. It lay still, unnaturally calm, as if it had never reached out at all. The moon reflected cleanly on its surface now, innocent and quiet, mocking the chaos it had just swallowed. Tariq crawled backward on his hands, his body trembling so hard his teeth knocked together. He kept shaking his head, whispering the same words again and again. "This isn't real. This isn't real." Malik stared at the water where Kofi had disappeared. His chest rose and fell sharply, his breath uneven. He waited for bubbles, for ripples, for anything. Nothing came. Amani finally moved, slowly, carefully. He stepped closer to the riverbank, every instinct screaming at him to run, to flee, to never look back. His legs felt heavy, as if the earth itself was trying to hold him in place. "Kofi is gone," he said quietly. Tariq let out a broken wail. Malik turned on Amani suddenly, eyes blazing. "This is your fault." Amani flinched. "I warned you." "You should have stopped us," Malik shouted, his voice cracking. "You should have dragged us away." "I tried," Amani replied. "You laughed." The river stirred, not violently, not yet. Just enough to remind them it was listening. Malik's anger drained instantly, replaced by raw fear. He took a step back, then another. His heel struck something solid. Stone. He looked down. His foot would not move. Confused, he tried again, lifting his leg. Pain shot through him, sharp and searing. He screamed and grabbed his thigh. The skin around his ankle had hardened, cracked. Grey veins spread upward like roots crawling under his flesh. "No," he whispered. "No, no, no." The hardening crept higher, inch by inch, swallowing his skin, his muscles, his screams. He clawed at his legs desperately, tearing at himself, but his fingers scraped against stone. Tariq watched in frozen horror, unable to move, unable to breathe. Malik screamed Amani's name. "Help me! Please!" Amani rushed forward, grabbing Malik's arm, trying to pull him free. The stone spread faster at the touch, racing up Malik's torso. His eyes filled with terror as the transformation climbed his chest. "I'm sorry," Malik cried. "I didn't mean it, I swear." The river hummed, unmoved. Malik's mouth opened for one final scream. Then his face froze. His body went still. Stone stood where Malik had been. Perfect, lifeless, permanent. Tariq screamed until his voice broke. He scrambled to his feet and ran blindly into the forest, branches tearing at his skin, his lungs burning as he fled. He did not know where he was going. He did not care. He only knew he had to get away. But the river followed him, not physically, inside his head. "You are not finished," it whispered. Tariq collapsed near the edge of the forest, sobbing uncontrollably. He clutched his head, rocking back and forth, begging. "I'll do anything, please." The voice came again, slower this time. "Return what remains and serve." Amani found him there at dawn, curled into himself like a child. His eyes were red and empty, his body trembling. "It's not over," Tariq whispered hoarsely. "It won't let me go." They returned to the river together. Amani walked ahead, heart heavy, knowing what waited for them. The river lay calm again, deceptive in its stillness. Tariq stepped forward slowly, tears streaming down his face. "I was wrong," he said, voice shaking. "I wanted more than I deserved. I was afraid of being nothing." He reached into his pocket and pulled out the last stone. It glowed faintly, dimmer than before, as if tired. "I give it back." He dropped it into the water. The river rippled softly. Tariq fell to his knees, pressing his forehead into the dirt. "Please." The river rose slightly, then settled. The voice came one last time. "You will live," it said, "but you will never forget." The pain hit Tariq instantly. He screamed as the sound of rushing water filled his ears. His memories burned, twisted, rewired. Faces blurred, names faded. Time slipped. When it stopped, he collapsed, unconscious. Amani carried him back to the village. The elders listened in silence as Amani told them everything. They did not interrupt. When he finished, the oldest among them nodded slowly. "The river has judged," he said, "and it has spared who it wished." Malik's stone body remained by the riverbank, a warning carved in silence. No one touched it. Kofi was never seen again. Tariq survived, but he was never the same. He remembered pain, but not faces. He recognized voices, but not names. He wandered the village quietly, helping where he could, always avoiding the river. Amani became its guardian, not by choice, by duty. He walked its banks daily, warning travellers, guiding children away, speaking the old words his grandmother had taught him. He did not fear the river any more. He respected it. The village healed slowly, crops returned, children recovered, life moved forward. But the forbidden river remained sealed, silent, patient. Years later, elders would point towards the forest and say, "That is where greed learned its lesson." And if you listen closely on full moon nights, some say you can still hear water breathing, waiting. My brothers and sisters, greed always promises shortcuts, but it never shows you the bill until it's too late. Some prices cannot be negotiated. Some boundaries are not meant to be tested. If this story kept you watching till the end, do 3 things before you leave. Hit the like button so this story can reach someone who needs the lesson. Drop respect in the comments if you believe some rules exist for a reason. And subscribe with notifications on, because more powerful stories like this are coming and you don't want to miss them. Thank you for staying with this story. Until the next one, stay wise and stay safe.